Here we are again. Of course, we will continue with something. Because obviously, it will be a bad idea to continue with nothing. So I think something will be more appropriate to continue with. And the thing is, I've looked at the cape from this angle, and I see that it's a bit more, it's smashed or wrinkled, or I don't know how to call it, but it's not exactly good. Those things has to be at the most straight. Not at the most, but mostly straight down. And if we have some hiccups or whatever, it's not good. The next thing I notice is on the helmet, those horns are coming out just like this, like nothing happened, So let's put our symmetry on, and let's start on the helmet, put our symmetry on, and let's start to make something here, just something to connect them, the helmet and the horns. So they are going out from the helmet, but they are not just like this. They have like a hole, and this hole is dig, and it has some kind of a border, stuff like this. It's not in the concept, of course, because concept is very, very slim, but with just the standard brush with Alt, I'm just trying to make it a bit more alive, a bit more grounded to reality. Although for a stylized concept, I told you that this could be not very good. But I think in our case, it will work just fine. I will go ahead and do this with the damp standard brush and Alt. So I am subtracting with the brush, and this is the result. Not exactly perfect, but I will smooth it a bit so it's not that prominent and not that sharp. These sharp, tiny things are not good for a concept like this. If they are tiny like this, thin, they should be not so sharp. So I made it not so sharp. Let's try something here. So let's just try this. Just try to have something like this. It's not exactly bad, I think. It could work, probably. But I will make it and then Control Z if I don't like it, because I want to see if the overall look of our character, the overall design is changing a bit. This is adding kind of interesting thing to our model. I'm not sure. I have to think about it. Sometimes we have to just think about it, We have to think about it. We don't have time to think about it. Either it will be this or not. Or let's Control Z a couple of times until this disappears, like this. And this was Control Z a lot of times. And I will just, okay. ZBrush, when we have so much undo done, it will ask us if you want to continue from here, because you will remove 55, 56 undo histories. We say yes, because we are kind of evil, and we will completely remove those histories. And since we have made them for less than a minute, probably it won't be such a loss, which is cool. And I will divide one more time those horns with Control D. Control D is adding subdivisions, and with Shift D we are going down subdivisions. But if you want to go up subdivisions, it's not Control D, because Control D is adding, and when we have already existing subdivisions, we go with just D. And you can of course see that here in the geometry tab, lower S is Shift D. Pressing Shift D, we go lower S. Higher S is just D. And divide is Control D. So most of the things in ZBrush are made with Control Shift and Alt, which is very convenient because you know that those your fingers of your left arm or hand should be on Control Alt and Shift. And yeah, most softwares I think are like this, but ZBrush is a lot like this. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully I'm not moving the model too much, because it will result in the camera lagging, which sometimes I even cannot fix in post-production. Too bad. But that's the way it is, you know. It cannot change that. Just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Okay. Let me think what we could do next. I'm not so sure about the horns yet, so I wanna fix myself on them a little bit longer, but let's go to the sword for now. I will have to apply the subdivisions because they are not applied yet, and I will go with... so here the subdivisions are not enough. You can see, because we don't have enough polygons in this area, so I will Control Z a few times until we don't have subdivisions, then Shift D to disable the dynamic subdivisions, and then I will add some poly loops here because I will need them, or edge loops. So I'll go to some edge and just click, and by default it will add an edge loop exactly on that spot. And yes, when we subdivide those, our sword will be a lot more polygons, but also we'll have the ability to make some detailing, because otherwise we don't have enough polygons to do that. So now we will have enough polygons, which is very good for me. Alright, I've added, I think, enough polygons, so now we can dynamic subdivision, apply, and then let's try to do it with clay tubes, one of my favorite brushes, just to make it like he has hit some other sword and it's going inward. It's not perfect, but I think we can do it. I'm using pinch brush also. I'm using whatever I need to make it work. So now it's looking a bit more interesting, a bit more like it should be. I will make this a bit like this. Yeah, I'm sorry if I sometimes speak like riddles. This like this, and this a little bit like this. But when I'm working, sometimes I just cannot speak that that good. My thought is not exactly like it should be. Thought process is lacking. I will make some things like this, just to add a bit more detail to this part of the sword. We'll have to continue them on all sides and connect them in this area. And I will make just a little bit of this, and probably some scratches in this area. But we don't have enough polygons for those. Probably just one more little this thing, and this will be fine. I think the sword is good as it is. So now we can continue detailing a little bit more, and then we can start the process of poly painting, which will be very much fun. I'm telling you, because I know, and you have to believe me, because we have a lot of instruments to make automatic kind of things in poly painting, which is cool. I'm just gonna make those eyes pop up a bit, if those are eyes, of course. They should be kind of eyes. ice cold. Cold ice. Okay, this looks pretty good now, and I think we are cool. Although this the cape is not exactly perfect in my opinion. It's even worse than perfect, which is obvious. But I don't think we can make it in this time frame to be as good as we want it to be. So we'll just play with what we have. I'm just trying to make it work. And it's not that it's perfectly bad, but it's not perfectly good, which sometimes is bugging me. But I'll have to just deal with it, you know. It's my problem. So I will deal with it. Here I will inflate it. Just make this good. And I will make a bit of this area. Let's Control D to add one more level of detail, subdivision in our case, and continue to work it. Sorry if I'm touching my nose sometimes, but this is because it's just itching me, which is I think absolutely normal thing to do, to just scratch it when it's itching. Maybe it's the coronavirus, I'm not sure. It's just, I don't know. Nobody knows. Or just I'm old, which is also correct, probably. So these things are good. Kinda. It's not perfect. It's not close to perfect even. But I think we can leave it like this, because we don't have too much time to deal with it. And the time is ticking. And I'm trying to keep this course a bit smaller than my other ones that are like 30 hours or more. Since and that's why I chose this character, because it's kind of easier, kind of less time consuming than others. We see here the pants. And those pants, let's make them like Dynamesh. Ooh, this Dynamesh is... it's not that bad. Although it's 200,000 polygons, which for the thing that will not be that visible is a lot. But we will see it in some areas like here, if we want to see it. Pants. And also here. I don't know what I can do to make it more interesting here. Maybe kinda this. I'm not sure exactly. But let's finish this video, because now I think we have enough. Let's no. Yeah, sometimes I say, okay, that's enough, but then I see something that I want to change, that I want to make, adjust, or make better, or tweak. Those are maybe the same things, but still, I'm seeing that kind of things sometimes, and I want to do it. That's why it's taking so long to finish sometimes some videos. I don't know why I did that, but I think it will be good. Alright. Now, let us continue with going to... I think everything has subdivisions now, which is important. Or everything is high subdivision also is important. And we can continue next video to start making the poly paint. It's important to have a good poly paint, because we have a stylized character, and we don't want too much shadows and stuff. We'll get almost all the things we need from the poly paint, but let's do that in the next video.